Good morning, everyone, and um, welcome to our webinar. Today is how to build a website that works for your business, September 4th, 2025. And we're so excited you take the time to join us today. It's our first webinar after the summer break, so excited you could be here, and let's get started. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please post them in the Q&A at the bottom. The best webinars always have a lot of questions and answers, and any links or resources that we talk about, we'll make sure we share them after the fact. And closed captions available. You can just pick it on the black taskbar if you'd like to add closed captioning on. And we will be sharing a link to this webinar after the fact. So if you miss anything, if you have to go, if you'd like to share it with a colleague, we'd encourage you to review it again, share it, and all of our previous webinars are there as well. And I'm hoping you join us through Digiport. Digiport is a one-of-a-kind, one-stop shop for tourism businesses to get help with their digital needs. There's interactive opportunities. You can book a 1 hour with a digital service provider at no cost to you. You can receive access to our programming, find out about future webinars, and any other relevant information. So if you haven't signed up, I'd encourage you to sign up through Digiport. It's in partnership with Digital Nova Scotia, and it's just an excellent opportunity for tourism businesses in the province. So I'd like to welcome back Patrick Manifold from Nova Social. Patrick's provided webinars before. He is one of the digital service providers in our tourism digital assistance program, TDAP. And Patrick and his team are, they're deeply passionate about working with businesses, and they've gained so much knowledge with working through hundreds of businesses, both good and bad, and they feel like their clients' success is their success. So really great company, works all over Atlantic Canada, and focuses on, of course, website building, social media management, content creation, video production, digital marketing. So really a one-stop shop. They have a lot of valuable information. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Patrick to share the screen and share some information with us.
Perfect. Thanks, Nick. I'm just going to share my screen right here. Perfect. Thank you, Nick, and welcome everybody who's watching. Today, we are going to talk about, primarily, we're going to talk about websites. I'm actually going to talk about a few other things first. So some of the things that you'll learn is just a little bit about branding, a little bit about social media, a little bit about what I call the foundation for digital success, because I just think that you can't just do one thing. If you had a website but didn't have the other things, you're not going to be successful. If you had all these things and didn't have a website, again, you wouldn't be successful. So I want to talk about a little bit of all of it. As Nick said, Nova Social, we are a full-service digital marketing agency and production company, and we're based in Amherst, Nova Scotia. So we're right on the border of New Brunswick, but we've had the privilege and the opportunity to share everything that we do with businesses all across, especially Nova Scotia, but now increasingly Atlantic Canada. We literally do everything. So we do websites, we do social media, photography, video production, branding design, digital strategy. And we used to say, if it's digital, we do it. Basically, if it's anything in the marketing world, we do it. But we also do print stuff as well. So we basically, any business that needs help, whether they're big or small, we literally can do everything as far as helping them to grow and become a bigger and better business. And basically our biggest mission is to just help people. Like that's my personal biggest passion in life. Outside of owning this marketing company, I'm an author and a motivational speaker, so to speak. And that's my biggest passion in life, is to help people become more of themselves. So naturally, as I help business owners, I'm the same person. I have no choice but to find their problems and be like, you should just do this. Or in most cases, we can do this for you and it will move the needle on your business. So today we're going to talk a little bit about websites and what I call the foundation for digital success. So we're going to start with branding, move on to social media, talk a little bit about online listings, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper into websites, specifically through the lens of tourism industries. As Nick said, we have been working with tourism businesses in particular for the past 2 or 3 years in all sorts of fashions, everything from five-star resorts to award-winning wineries, all the way down to someone who just started their very own tour business in a small town. So we literally have an incredible amount of experience in this industry. And unlike not a lot of companies may specialize in one thing, we literally do everything. Like we shoot documentaries, we do photography, we do websites, we do branding, we do graphic design, logo creation. So my team here, I have a team of 6 people who are badasses in marketing and very cool people, and they, like me, like to help people. So we get people coming in here, coming in our doors, or meeting online like this all the time. And basically, one thing I forgot to mention as we were going through is we can offer a website audit. So if you have a website or you don't have a website and you're wondering what your website should look like, if you want any kind of information on a website audit, so to speak, then you can email us at info@novasocialmedia.ca and we will actually do that for you for free. Me and my team will take a look and give you the best advice we can in a short period of time. And also, there's Digiport, which I'll show you in a moment. Let me just show you now real quick. There's something called Digiport, which allows you to have a one-on-one expert. I am one of those quote unquote experts. That's their words, not mine. But I am one of those people who you can book a slot to talk to me for an hour. And if you do so, it doesn't actually cost you anything, which is really cool because I have a terrible habit of giving out way too much information, all that secret sauce. I can't help it when you sit down with me or we talk on Zoom like this, then I'm pretty much going to give you the keys to the kingdom because, like I said, we've seen all of so many successes and so many failures and so many people in between. I'm not that smart. I'm just good at recognizing patterns. And if you do certain things, you succeed. And if you do certain things, you fail. And if you do a little bit of both, then you're in the middle and you're kind of mediocre. We want to help people as much as we can, and that's what we do in our meetings. So if you want, after this call, you're welcome to book that for completely free to you. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about branding, first of all, and the basics of it. And when people, especially when you're new to business, you don't really know what branding means because it's not just the logo, it's not just the colors, it's not just the font. It's everything that you stand for. So Nova Social as a logo, let's just break this down real quick. So if you have a logo, this right here is what we call our circular logo. You need a logo that says exactly what you do. Too many people get fancy with their logos, and when people see it, they don't know what it means. So you've already lost them, right? And then another thing people don't do is they'll have a logo like this. This is great for social media, but and many people will just have a wide logo like this. You can see at the bottom, the note with the white Nova Social at the bottom. Everyone has that, and then they wonder why their Facebook profile picture has black marks in it and it gets cut off. So we always try to look at saying, okay, let's optimize for both web, which is wide, and then also social, because all of your social media channels, which again we'll talk about in a minute, they're all circular. So you need something that will fit in that kind of logo. But again, it needs to be indicative of what your business actually does, and it needs to be simple. If it's too complicated, you may think that it looks cool and looks fancy, but if your customers get confused by it, you're losing them. Okay, so within this logo, there is fonts, and you can see here now, and you may think that fonts aren't that important, but they are. It's what we call in the business continuity. If I see one of your website pages that has this font and then another page has a different font and then it's a different size and then it's a different italicized or bold or unbold or a completely different font altogether, it just looks terrible. There's just no way around it. If you start using random colors throughout your site or throughout your profile pictures or throughout your Instagram posts or whatever the case may be, you got to stick to your brand colors because what you'll understand is that if you go through your Facebook feed right now, you don't need to even see someone's logo. If you see a style, if you see a font, if you see a certain set of colors together, you already know what that brand is, right? And there's lots of examples of that. And that's kind of like a challenge I want you to take away from this is to understand branding a little better. Next time you see a brand without seeing the brand, that's what branding is. You see the fonts, you see the colors, you see the style of video, whatever the case may be, that's branding. So for Nova Social, this is just all part of our brand, right? And the last part that I'm going to talk about right now is your voice. So who are you? Who is your business? What do you want to be stuffy and super like professional? Do you want to be friendly? Do you want to be funny? Do you want to be a little bit out there and a little bit crazy? What is your voice? You need to have a consistent brand voice. You can't be super approachable and funny and crazy one post, and the next post be like super like professional. You got to pick who you are, because that's what people want. They want consistency. They don't want you to be up and down. They want to know exactly who they're following. So it's just a little bit about branding, but it's something that I think is a lot of businesses overlook, and it's one of the most basic things. So you can see here in this page, like the first thing, profile optimization here, like I see so many businesses that have a terrible profile picture. Like it seems like the most easy, basic thing in the world, but they haven't done that. And that really hurts their business, because we're talking about first impressions, which again, we'll talk more about later on. But the step one for social media is profile optimization. This is an Instagram account, and so many people don't even have highlights. Like these are different areas of our business: social media, websites, photography, videography, etc. This is an opportunity. In another business I'm involved in, real estate. Real estate is really, really important. It's about what being in the right place. This on this screen, this real estate is super important. If someone lands on your profile, this is an opportunity for you to tell them all the things that you do without them having to scroll down. Again, lots of missed opportunities. So when we talk about profile optimization, we're making sure that everything that we do that's important is written right here. We're making sure that our website actually goes to the right place on our website that we want it to go to. We're making sure that all the buttons and stuff are clickable. We're making sure that the pinned post, because you can pin posts on Instagram and Facebook, the pinned posts are the most important posts that we want people to see at that particular time. And that may change throughout the year. Don't pin a post from 4 years ago just because it was a good post. Pin something new that's relevant, that's of the season, right? So profile optimization is the number one thing when it comes to social media, because as soon as someone lands on your page, they're judging you. And if you don't have a good look right off the bat, they might just leave, and then you've lost a potential customer. The second thing is consistency in post and voice, like I just talked about in branding. This is where branding gets used. So you have an idea, you have a brand strategy, you have kind of like an idea of what your logos and stuff look like, but then the execution of it is how consistent you can be in your posting and in your voice. People will end up following you for what you do. So don't all of a sudden change it just because you don't think it's working or not enough people followed you. Be consistent, use the voice that's authentic to your business. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your voice. Just because you're happy and crazy and out there and funny, maybe you're in an accounting business, and that's probably not the right position to be you. Your business itself has its own voice, and you have to stick to it. You also want to have thoughtful content. One of the biggest mistakes that I see tourism businesses make is every single time they post, it's like, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my tour, stay at my place, eat my food. It's just constantly, please buy from me, please buy from me, please buy from me. And that's boring for like the consumer. They don't want to be told what to do all the time. What they want is informational content. They want to learn something. If you're a restaurant, show them behind the scenes of you cooking that stuff. If you are a restaurant, show them the chef behind it who, maybe learn a little bit more about his personality, or teach them one of your little secret recipes. Create enough value that they want to come back and follow you. And then every now and again, and I'm talking max 20, 25% of the time, then you can talk about the thing that you do as far as, hey, we've got an offer here, come and buy something. But it can't be every time. Because if all you do is ask, 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 and never give, you're going to lose people over time. So that's one way to have thoughtful content creation. So many people have a really hard time with content creation. Not everybody's creative. Like that's just the truth. Not everybody can just come up with like great ideas for posts or for copy all the time. But there's things that you can do, especially now with ChatGPT and using like copywriters and things like that. But also, as far as the content, an interesting thing that we do, or that started coming out of our websites, is every time we do a website for someone, we do professional photography. That's one of our USPs, like one of the things that we're best at. And what we do is when we take pictures for someone's website, we'll come for like 3 or 4 hours and get shots of everything. And then we use those pictures for the website, but then we typically give them as a gift to the business afterwards. And now they might have anywhere between 100 and 300 pictures. I still see businesses that we did a website for 4 years ago posting new content as far as this is the first time it's hit the internet. They're still posting that content. So that is my plea to you to find, and you obviously don't have to use us. If you do, then wonderful. But if not, find a local photographer to build you a stock library of professional images, because everyone's doing cell phone stuff. If you want to stand out, have a library of 100, 200 professional pictures of all the different elements of your business, and use that to promote you year round. The next level of that is to do it in multiple seasons. So if you're one of those businesses that is trying to creep into the shoulder season, then you'd want to actually create images in the snow, images in the fall, and images in the summer so that you can promote yourself and change your website all year round and keep it fresh. Okay. And then the last thing I want to talk about is for social media is paid ads. Organic reach on social media is, I don't want to say it's dead, but it's it's been dying for a while and it's on its last legs. Basically, it used to be people that are new to business, when they see social media, they think, hey, if I've got, let's say, 1,000 followers and I post at 6 p.m. that my business is, let's say, the restaurant, like we've got some free tables tonight, like come and take something to eat. They think that all those 1,000 people are going to see it, and they're just not. The way the algorithm works, and it changes all the time, but our best estimates of how it's currently working is that if you have 1,000 followers and you post at 6 p.m. and every single one of those followers is currently on that platform, let's just call it Facebook. Every single one of those 1,000 people is on Facebook, looking at their phone, they're scrolling. Only around 5 to 10%, so 50 to 100 people would actually see your post. Okay. So not all of them, even if they're there and they're ready to scroll. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they show it to a small amount of your followers to see if there's any engagement. If those people do not engage, don't like it, share it, comment on it, send it to a friend, if they don't do that in the first, say, 20 to 60 minutes, then they just kill it. They just don't show it to anybody else, not even your own followers, let alone anybody else. Whereas if you get a ton of engagement, and that's why you have to be creative in what you post, don't just post a picture of you saying hi, like that, there's no engagement there. Ask a question, get their opinion. Hey, we're thinking about doing these 3 dishes. Which one's your favorite? Now, all of a sudden, you give people the opportunity to like it, comment, share it, send it to a friend, inspire them to come and actually do it. And then when you pick their dish, now they're more inclined to actually come and eat it with you, right? So there's creative strategies that you can have in social media, which unfortunately we can't get into too deep, but I just wanted to give you an idea that you should be running paid ads, because the organic traction, organic is basically people seeing your post, but you not paying for it. That organic traction is really quite small. You should be boosting, at least on Facebook and Instagram. You should be running some paid ads on your social media platforms to boost your numbers, to get your reach out there, to reach more people, to reach new people. Don't run ads at your own people unless you have an incredible following. Run ads at new people and get some fresh blood into your business. So that's just a little bit about social media. Also, online listings. Like, this is one of the literally the most common ones, especially with small businesses. They end up getting a website or they get their social media and they don't have a Google My Business listing. And I'm like, do you know how important that is? Most people, when they search for something, they search for places near me. So here's an example. I'm in Amherst, Nova Scotia right now, and people think that because a few people in your town know you, that now all of a sudden everyone's going to be able to find you. That's not the case. If I'm traveling through Amherst, I'm coming from Moncton going to Halifax, and I need something to eat. I'm in the car, I type restaurants near me, and I'm in Amherst. It's only going to show me these businesses that have these listings. Okay, you see all these listings here, these red dots. Those are businesses that have basically said, "Hey, I want to have my own place online on Google," and they've created this listing. Let's look at, let's pick someone that we like here. Okay, Art V and Deli, one of my favorite places to eat lunch here. Okay, they have all of this stuff. They have all this stuff. They've got their address. They say when they're open, all these things. If they didn't have that, they wouldn't appear here. So you could have a great restaurant, right? You could have the best restaurant in town. But if you're not on Google My Business, right? If you don't have that set up, if it's not optimized, you're missing a massive opportunity. Obviously, Google runs Google My Business. So when you're Googling it, those are the first things that pop up, right? So especially when you're in tourism, like it's one of the most important things to do near me. If someone's looking to go horse riding, if you're not listed on Google, that is a massive SEO mishap. You need to be there. It's one of the most important things, and you got to be optimized. You can't just have it and then have the wrong website or have the wrong hours or all these things. If you want to make sure you get 5-star reviews on here, like these are some of the most important things that people overlook, like being where your customers are. That's the most important thing. We talk about social media. I meet business owners who say, I don't really like social media, so I'm not really on it for the business. It's like, if you are in business, it's not your job to do the things that you like. It's your job to do the things that your customers like. Okay. So be on social media, be where your customers are. If you're running a tourism business, you need to be on TripAdvisor. There's no if and or buts about it. You need to be on there and you need to be pushing reviews and you need to be having things like QR codes at your location or wherever, however you do business, inspiring people to do it. Even if you have to give them 5 or 10% off, those reviews that you get, those 5-star reviews, they are gold. They're absolute gold. They can be put on your website, they can be repurposed into social media content. Like this is some of the most important like secret sauce that if you're not doing these things, you're not going to be successful long term. But if you do these things consistently, you can actually have a really successful business. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have in this webinar to talk about some of the other things outside of websites. But I was on Digital Nova Scotia's podcast recently, and I went a little bit deeper into some of these issues. And you're more than welcome to go and watch that or listen to that wherever you listen to podcasts. It's called All Hands on Tech. It's an awesome podcast with some really cool people on there, me excluded, obviously, but the DNS team behind it, the Unbound Media behind it, and all of the guests that I've seen and watched myself. Like there's some really good information on there, so make sure to go ahead and check that out. Okay, so now we'll get to the website portion. Why do you need a professional website? I could go for an hour just on this one slide, but I'm going to start slow. It's the first impression. When someone hears about your business, and we're looking at a Flying Apron Inn and Cookery, really, really cool business, lovely people, incredible experience that you can have if you go there. So if you haven't been, please check it out. But this is a website we did recently in the past kind of year or so. If, let's say someone was in that town, right, and they're looking for places to eat, and they see that 3 different businesses are there, and 2 of them have a website and 1 of them doesn't, that's a red flag. Like, what kind of business in 2025 doesn't have a website? Right? That's a red flag. That means the first thing you're going to judge them on is, oh, well, they must not be very big or they must not be very good. Because if they were good or big, they would already have a website and it would already be pretty good, right? So number one, having a website, first of all, is really, really important. And then number two, what does it look like? Is it good? Is it horrible? Is it a crappy first impression? Does it have bad photos? Does it have bad copy? Does it have spelling mistakes throughout it? Does it do the links work in it? All these little things. It's a first impression. I say this all the time in business and in life. You can't make a second first impression. I'll say it again. You cannot make a second first impression. So if you're fortunate enough in this ridiculously crowded world that we currently live in, for someone's attention to come to your website, you have 3 seconds to wow them, to inspire them, or to make them think that you suck. And that's it. And you might not get another shot. Those 3 seconds. And if you're running paid ads to send people to your website and your website is garbage, you are just throwing money out the door. So you have to not only have a website, but it needs to be good and it needs to be optimized. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how to do that in a few minutes. But so many times I see businesses that have websites and they made them themselves and it shows. And the unfortunate thing is, often those people's businesses are awesome. The people behind it are awesome. They have the opportunity to do great things, and they wonder why nobody comes because they've got a terrible, blurry cell phone picture as their hero image, and it looks like crap. They took it at the wrong time of the year. It was in the spring. There was no leaves on the trees, and it just looks terrible. But that's not indicative. So many times we've rolled up on businesses and we've seen their website, and it's awful. And then we're like, holy shit, like this place is amazing. Like this doesn't look anything like this on your website. That is a huge missed opportunity. The first thing people are doing, they're looking at your social media, they're looking at your website, and if they don't get wowed, they'll just get wowed by your competitor. And then they'll go and give business to them instead. And that's the world that we live in. People make quick decisions, and if you don't make a good first impression, you are losing money every single day. Another thing is it's your home online. Like you yourself as a person, you're not homeless, right? You don't want your business to be homeless either, right? You need to have a website where people can go and learn information about you. And unlike social media is like, hey, we're doing this one thing today. Hey, we've got this one thing with this one offer. But website is like, hey, come and learn about our owners. Come and learn about all the things that we do. Come and learn about why we got started. Now I'm starting to, like, I love wine. And one of the reasons I love wine so much is I love the stories behind it. I love the families that have spent generations, cultivating these vines. I love all the stories that go into building something. And I think that's just a human thing. And people, they don't just want to go and support a business. They want to support a business that has a great story. Your website is the place to tell your business's story. SEO, like this is a buzzword, and I've had so many meetings with people that come into my office and it's like, I need to improve my SEO. Most people don't know what SEO means. It is somewhat complicated. It also doesn't have to be. SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, it kind of does what it says on the tin. It's like when someone Googles your business or the thing that you do, is it showing up? Are you populating for those keywords? And I have people literally talk to me and say, hey, I need to boost my SEO. And I'm like, okay, well, just show me your website and we'll start there. And they're like, oh, I don't have a website. That person does not understand SEO. That person doesn't have a blog. That person isn't posting content consistently on social media. SEO is more than it ever used to be. It used to just be keywords on your website, and it used to just be blogs. And now it's social media. Like literally, Google and the algorithms are taking, even Instagram and Facebook are taking text or even words that you're saying in videos that's being transcribed, and that's showing up as SEO now. So SEO has changed a lot over the years, but one of the biggest and best things you can do to boost your SEO is having a website. If you don't have a website, you're not going to be landing on places like Google very, very consistently. You're just not. So if someone's searching online for your business or the kind of stuff that your business does, and you don't have a website, you're missing a huge opportunity. And lastly, on this slide, it's a 24/7 lead generator. Your business, your website should literally be, depending on obviously your business, but it should literally be something that is like a salesman that works 24/7, 365, never takes a second off, is constantly working, is set up in a way. We could talk about CTAs, and you'll see me refer to CTAs in a little while. It's a call to action. It's like, buy my stuff, book your stay, book your restaurant, book your tour. A CTA is a call to action, like, hey, actually do the thing. So you want to give them some information to impress them and then give them a call to action. You want to give them a little bit more information and then give them a call to action. We want to get people to actually do stuff. We're in business. Well, this isn't hobbies. If it's a hobby for you, then that's fine, and maybe you should watch something else. But the people here that are watching this, that are trying to grow their business, that's what your website is supposed to do. It's supposed to grow your business. You're supposed to have a contact form where if someone has any questions, they can hit it right there. It needs to be easy, right? And that's where we get into some of the next part of the website, the fundamentals of a great website. So number one is intuitive navigation. And basically what that means is when I go on your website for the first time, I need to know how to use it. And you're like, how do you build a website that someone knows how to use right off the bat? It's because we understand human behavior and we understand what other websites, what other popular websites look like and feel like, and what the buttons do. And we try to replicate that in a way that someone can come onto our website for the very first time, and it's nice and simple. Like you see here, the Super 8. We've got home, stay, about, book, Amherst, and contact. We keep it simple. So many people, unfortunately, overcomplicate things. They have 27 different tabs, drop down menus that no one can find. Here, it's like, what do you think the stay button? There's a tab up there that says stay. What do you think that does? Yeah, it shows you what rooms are available. And the book button, what do you think that's about? Yep, you click it and you can book your room. Amherst, which is the town where this Super 8 is in. Guess what? Yeah, it tells you all about things to do in the town of Amherst. And contact page, contact us. Like, keep it simple. The problem is that so many people try to be all fancy and have like these special fancy words, and they wonder why people don't click on their tabs. Keep it simple. People want to come on your website and find the thing that they want right away. Another thing is consistent branding. Like you don't want to have like you see Super 8 have that red and yellow and black as their like their fonts and their colors, and then you're going to start using pink and blue and white. Like no, you need to keep on brand with what the brand actually looks like in order for it to look like a professional website. Otherwise, it's going to look super amateurish. One of the most important things, which we love, is professional photography. This exact website and all the websites that we do, if you took out our professional photography, our drone photography, and all that kind of stuff, if you took that out and just had a random person take cell phone pictures, it would completely ruin the website. The entire website wouldn't feel as professional. When someone comes and talk about first impressions, when someone lands on this website and they say they don't have to have the actual thought of, Oh wow, they must have paid a professional photographer to come. Oh wow, that's a drone shot. They must have paid a prof. It's just an instant understanding that these people have invested in their business. These people are taking this seriously. These people are professional. That means that I can now have trust in them. I can now show up to their location and know that if they're spending that much money on their website and their photos and their videos and their drone and whatever the case may be, that I'm going to get a good service because these people are taking it seriously. Okay. The next thing is engaging in clear copy. Copy, for those of you who aren't sure, is basically words. So you see underneath here on this option says our amazing room options. That's copy. Okay. And sales copy and specifically is we're trying to get someone to do something. That's what copy is. We're trying to just inspire people to do something through the words that they read, right? And the biggest mistake I make, or the biggest mistake I see tourism businesses in particular make, is they have so much copy. Like on their homepage of their website, there's like 37 paragraphs. And honestly, what happens now, like in this TikTokified age that we're in, when people look at more than 3 or 4 paragraphs, they just turn off. They don't even read the first one because it's too much of a time investment. They don't want to do it. And that's why one of the biggest things that we do is we add video on the front page of the website. So you can explain everything. We call them who we are and what we do videos, because as soon as you land on a website and you click play or automatically plays, now within 2 or 3 minutes, you can learn everything that you need to know about that business in that short amount of time without having to do any work. People look at reading as work. They don't want to do it, right? And this is on a desktop. But when you do it on a phone, now it looks really, really long. People don't want to do it. They want the small piece of information as much as possible. And then another issue, so many people, they change the links to somewhere and now their links don't work or their call to actions don't work. You're having a book now button that's broken, and now you've done everything right. You've done the social media, you've got the great website, you've got the professional photos, you've got the great copy, and then they click the link they want to buy and oops, going to the wrong place, doesn't exist anymore. Big mistakes that people aren't taken care of, right? And that's why if we get the opportunity to do an audit on your website, we'll click all the links to make sure they work, because most often people just don't check that stuff. And now we'll talk about a basic website layout. So this is a Maple Inn in Parsboro, another great place to stay if you're ever in the Cumberland County area or passing through. Really lovely owners. Homepage, about page, offerings page, contact page. So if you're someone that's on this webinar right now and you're looking to build your own website, please keep it simple and please just start with these 4 things. Homepage. Here's what to do on a homepage. You want to make sure that everything that is important to your business is mentioned on this page, not in perpetuity, not in the entire explanation of what it is, but you just want to talk about it enough that entices them to click a button that they can go to the other page. So on a home page, you would have a link to an about page, a link to an offerings page, and some information about your offerings, and then you'd actually have a contact form on your home page. So that's like the secret sauce for the home page. You want to keep it small, you want to keep it short. Also from a loading time perspective, like this is something people don't think about. They jam 1,000 photos and massive videos on their homepage, and then it takes 5 or 6 seconds to load. That doesn't sound like a lot, but I got an iPhone 16 Pro and it's very fast. And if I'm on a website and it takes me more than 1.5 seconds to load, I think the website must be broken and I get out and I go somewhere else. So load time is really, really important. And it's something that a lot of people don't think about. If you put too much stuff, photos, images, documents, videos, anything that's like of size, if you put too much on your homepage, it takes too long to load. And then you actually lose customers because of your load time. That is a genuine thing that happens. Homepage. Have a section about the business, talk about it a little bit, but not completely. Have a little link to meet the owners. Here you can see Paul and Mackenzie's story, learn a little bit more about their story, but don't give it to them on the homepage. Give them a link to it on the homepage. The offerings page. So this obviously is a small inn. It's like a Airbnb or a motel or a hotel or whatever. If your business is a restaurant, obviously here you have, your food. If it's a tour guide, you have the different packages that you have or whatever the case may be. Like these things are really, really important to talk about, but they should be talked about. They should be enticing on the homepage and then go in depth on the offerings page. And then you've got a contact page, which obviously when someone just wants to contact you, they can click that button right away. They can go to like a little form, it sends you a message, and then you want to have that set up so it goes directly to your email and you can reply. That is the basic website layout for success. Everyone gets too complicated. It's like, oh, well, I've got all these other 15 things I want to talk about. Maybe I should have a page for every product. And now you've got 18 tabs. People don't know where to click. There's drop-down menus. It gets confusing. You can't do it. Now, I'm going to touch on a couple of things specifically from the tourism industry here. And one thing I want to talk about is packages. So something that Tourism Nova Scotia have done in the last few years with trying to help people is to get them to collaborate with other people in their industries or people outside of it. So if you're in, let's say, Parsborough, for example, there's a really nice restaurant in Parsborough, right? They should partner up with that website, that restaurant, and also the local kayaking people and create a Parsborough fun weekend bundle that each one of those businesses now get to work together. Each one of those businesses can work together to send traffic to that other business and they all win, right? So you'd build a little package. In this scenario, it would be something like the Maple Inn Superstay or whatever. And you get to have a kayaking trip, you get to have dinner at the local restaurant, and then you get a night stay at the Maple Inn. If that was a package, that's what people want now. They don't want to have to go to those three different things and figure it out. They want to go to one place. I talked about this recently in a meeting with a very big company, and I tried to explain to them. I said, when you go grocery shopping, do you want to go to the bread store, the orange juice store, the clothing store, and the meat store? Or do you want to go to Walmart? Right? You want to go to one place. You don't want to go drive all around town just to save 5 cents. You don't want to do it. People don't want to do it anymore. Time is precious. So if you can create a package that if you own a place like this, the Maple Inn, and you know that all of your people go eat at this place, and then the typical one thing they do is they go to the Fundy Fossil Cliffs or whatever the case may be, you should build that as a package. So whatever your industry you're in, what's around you, and ideally it's something that's not obviously not competing with you, but something that's complementary, something that your customers are already doing. If you're a coffee shop and people normally come to your coffee shop before they go to the bookstore, give them a coupon, right? And do it the other way around. Like collaborate with other people. Don't be in a silo. Don't try and do it on your own, right? You're going to go further as a team. Also, having your hours on your website, it seems like a small thing, but really it's really important. And if you don't update that on Google, especially, like my wife will say, hey, it's a bank holiday or something like that. It's a like long weekend. And she'll be like, is that place open? The first thing you do is just Google that business and it says whether or not those hours have been updated or not. If they're not, if it says you're closed, I'm not coming. But you might actually be open. So you have to update those hours and keep them up to date. Otherwise, people are going to just not come or not know what you do. Okay. Okay, so some tips and tricks about websites. I want to show you a couple of websites while I'm here. So we talked a little bit about branding earlier. This is a website that we built for the town of Lunenburg called Set Sail for Lunenburg. And this is basically their go at tourism. And again, now we've got we've got 8 tabs here, and that's a little bit more than I typically try to do. But there's so much going on this is for an entire town, not just for one business. But again, if you're here, you know what these things are: dining, experiences, shopping, stay, live here, heritage, and events. It's very, very simple. If I'd have tried to be super fancy with these titles, people wouldn't have clicked on them, right? We've got this beautiful brand here. You see these logos all the way up here. We actually went and took these pictures and used the colors of the buildings from the images that we took, as you can see over here. We took those colors and turned it into this logo, and it said set sail for Lunenburg. It could have been explore Lunenburg or visit Lunenburg, just like every other place, but we wanted to set sail for Lunenburg. And we actually got a ton of cool stuff on the Blue Nose too. But again, this is an example of this is a homepage. We want to talk about a little bit about what this place is and why you should come. And then boom, we've got dining, experiences, and accommodations. So if you click this button, it takes you directly to that tab. I'm not going into having every single restaurant on the homepage because it's confusing. I'm giving you a link, and now if you want to dive into that, now you can see the different food and drink options there are in Lunenburg. You can see the different places to eat and visit and do and all those kind of things. But again, you've got to have professional photography. If you got here and you had some crappy photography, it wouldn't make you want to go, right? So all these things are super important, and it goes into having, again, something that's constantly driving traffic to you, your business, and what you're trying to do, right? We have another example of branding, okay? So this is Maritime Green Energy, which is they sell heat pumps and solar panels and things like that. And again, this is all brand. We want to make sure that there's continuity. The fonts are the same, the colors are the same. They're not like similar, they're identical. You've got to pick it. You've got to make sure that you're passing your brand along, right? Again, professional photography that you got here. That stuff matters. It all matters. Okay. And those are just a couple of examples that I just wanted to show you. Okay, so a few tips and tricks website. This is where I'm gonna go fast, so you're gonna want to get your pen and paper out. Because honestly, I could talk about websites for hours. I could talk about all this stuff for hours. We don't have that long, unfortunately, but I'm going to try and pack as much value in. So even if you take a note about this and then you Google it or you chat GPT it after this, or like I said, you can actually have a consultation with me after and we can go deep into one of these things. Okay, sprinkle CTAs throughout your website. We briefly touched upon this before. You want to make sure you have calls to action as far as the wildlife park. Show me all the cool animals that you have. Show me like the experience that people had, and then tell me to book my ticket. Over here, Wild Caraway. Show me the great restaurants that you have. Show me that you're winner of Restaurant of the Year, but then ask me to book a thing. Fox Harbor Resort. Okay, they are a resort. They have, let's say you use golf as an example. Show me the cool, beautiful golf course that you've just built, and then ask me to book my stay. Don't show me all that stuff and then don't ask me to come do it. We've got Joseph Vineyards over here. Show me the great wine. Show me the experience that people are having. Okay, and then ask me to actually come and visit you. If you don't have call to action throughout your website, you're missing a big opportunity. As soon as you don't know what inspires people, you don't. But if you do inspire them, you want quickly for them to make a decision to come and stay with you or come and visit your business. Use Google Analytics. So, Google Analytics is basically something that tracks people's activity on your website. You can put Google Analytics on your homepage. You can put it on every single page. You can start tracking where people came from, what devices they're using, etc., etc. The more information and data that you have, the better you can retarget people. That's something that is like awesome to be able to do. Like someone that visited your website, you can now run an ad directly at them on their favorite platform. Like there's a lot of stuff that you can do, and Google Analytics is free. Like you don't even have to pay for it. You just have to set up a Google or Gmail account, set it up. Again, if you want to talk more about that, we can do that. Add a blog for SEO. People think blogs are dead. Blogs aren't dead. Well, reading blogs might be dead as far as like compared to like the newspaper's dead, but information isn't dead. If someone's looking for something to do, like 5 things to do in Lunenburg, right? 5 things to do in Amherst, Nova Scotia. What to do when you stay at Fox Harbor Resort. These are all blog post titles that are going to land now when someone Googles and they're looking for something to do in that area that your business is. Now you have the opportunity to pop up. And if you write 50 of those blogs, you've now got 50 opportunities to show up. So it's an opportunity that most people miss because it sounds like a lot of work, but honestly, it's not as hard as you think. And what we typically do is we actually create a blog inside that person's website. So every time someone wants to find that information or they see it through that blog, they end up on the website. And then naturally, curiosity kills the cat. They click the homepage, they click the offerings page, and now they start learning about the business, right? That is just another way of sending traffic to your website. Seasonal image updates, something we've started to do in the past few years. We'd go and do most of the tourism business, obviously here in Nova Scotia, is in the summertime. But a lot of people are trying to creep into those shoulder seasons, okay? Extend those shoulder seasons. If you're staying somewhere, why not invite people in the fall? Like we talked about the Maple Inn or Wild Caraway. It's beautiful in the fall. But as soon as like today is the first day of school, everyone all of a sudden summer's over. It's not. We can still have some little fun adventures on the weekend. There's still anniversaries. There's still different demographics that are still wanting to travel. There's still international people coming. How can you extend into the shoulder season? A great way to do that is to have a photo shoot in that shoulder season to show people what an incredible experience it is. And maybe it's not the shoulder season, maybe it's all into winter. A lot of places now have winterized their cottages or whatever, their restaurants, and now they're staying open all year. You don't want to come to your website in February and just see it all sunny and bright. I want to see it covered in snow. And I don't want to come in the wintertime and see it covered in snow. I want to see it all summery and green and bright, right? So you being able to change that, that's a great way to be able to drive traffic, drive content through social media as well. Use professional photos. Here is just 6 examples of photos that we've taken all across Nova Scotia. And it just makes a difference. I don't know what to say. Not only does it make the difference as far as like looking professional and looking better and having that beautiful like kind of blurry background and things like that looks great, but also something that a lot of people don't know, the algorithms, Google, Facebook, etc. There's this stuff in photos called metadata, and that photo there that I took on a boat at Fox Harbour, that knows that that was taken on a Sony A7 IV at 85 millimeters at 1/500th of a second with ISO 100, and it knows that it was edited in Lightroom. And all I know, all that jargon doesn't mean anything to you, but what it tells the algorithm is this was taken on a professional camera and edited professionally. So without even knowing what the picture is, it already knows that it's good. And the whole point of social media is to keep people on the platform. So if they've got 10 options and one of them, like as far as to send somebody when they're on their social media, if one of them is professional and nine of them are amateur, it's going to show them more likely the professional photo. Same thing with websites. When you're trying to rank higher on Google and things like that, if you constantly update your photos, especially seasonally, but then also throughout the years, Google knows that. The metadata within those images, it knows where it was taken. It knows everything about it. Okay. So that's something that people don't know about, but it's a really important thing, which is why we always include professional photos in all of our websites. Correct links on all platforms. I see this all the time. It's such a simple thing, but you do the due diligence and you make sure that you're on TripAdvisor and Yelp and Google and all this stuff and the links, and then all of a sudden you change a link on your website and now all of those links are broken, or you change your provider or something like that. You change your domain name and now all of a sudden all the links are broken. You've got a set time, like once a month, once a quarter at least, to go back, check all those places that you exist online and make sure that your links are working. Also, having a professional email account. Again, the amount of businesses that I meet that are actually pretty good businesses and then their email address is dave@gmail.com. Like it can't be that. You have to have a professional. Like my email is patrick@novasocialmedia.ca. If mine was patrickmanifold657 at hotmail.com, that would feel weird. It would feel unprofessional, right? And the same thing is true of you and your business. If you don't have a professional email that matches your domain, again, it's another red flag to say, is this person really taking it seriously? And then last thing is include video content. Like we love video. There's nothing more powerful in this world. The only thing more powerful than video is person to person. But you can't reach person to person for millions of people. But with a video, you can. So that's why, like, we've got, I don't want to say famous, but we've got a really good reputation for our who we are and what we do videos because they're so good and they move the needle on a business so much. Because when you land on that website and you get to see professional video production, you get to hear that person's voice, not just see a picture. They say a picture says 1,000 words. Well, if it does, then a video says 1,000,000 words. That is like you can convey everything, like the mood, the tone, everything about a business. You can really feel that through a video so much more impactfully than you can through obviously text or even just an image. So those are some extra things that you should include in your website and make sure that it's done right. Okay, the question, DIY or outsource? And really that map backs a lot of that maps back to your budget, your particular business, your particular uh, how much your business has the ability to grow. If you're in a tiny town and there's only one restaurant in your town and there's not many people coming, then maybe spending 5 grand on a website probably isn't the best thing to do unless you, like, like I say, unless you have that budget. You can look into doing it yourself. Nova Social websites is you can actually people build websites on our actual website. It's like a drag and drop, and it's very similar to all the other ones. So we talk about Wix here. We've done websites through Wix. We've done websites through Shopify. We've done websites through WordPress. Everyone wants WordPress websites. WordPress are a lot harder to manage. That's why we don't typically do them anymore, because when we hand a website over to a business, they want to be able to actually update it. And if they can't update it, then it's basically useless to them. It's now outdated and it's got the wrong information. So we try to build websites specifically that are, as long as you're not going to change too much, it's really easy to maintain. But for those people who are looking to trying to decide which platform to go through, honestly, you can't really miss, is the truth. Like any of the top five, like Wix, Shopify, Squarespace, all those, they're all pretty much the same. They're going to be somewhat similar in price. Like Nova Social, I think our cheapest one starts at $14.99 a month for the hosting. I think Wix is about 18, 19. Shopify, you can get it for like $20. But one thing is interesting, and I'll show you. People think, oh, I'll go Shopify because I'm selling something and I want to make sure that, people can buy my products online. If you're a tourism business and you've got merch or something like that. So interestingly, we have, okay, so I'm gonna give you an example here. Like this is my personal website for my speaker. This is a website that we built. So this is what we call a regular website. But if I want to have a shop, I could either pay an extra 40 or $50 a month to have the shop built into the website, or I could have this, which is looks like it and feels like it's still on my website. The favicon, which is this little icon up here, is still the same, but this is a Shopify website, right? So now people can actually go and buy your products, and it feels like they're still on your website, but they're not. They've actually left and they're now on Shopify, and we've just bought a domain over here. This costs $7 a month to have this Shopify store, and a lot of people don't even know that even exists. So there's opportunities that people don't even know about that you can blend multiple things. Like talk about booking. People want websites with a booking system built in, but often that's not the best thing for you. The best thing for you is to have a standalone website like the one you just saw, and then have a plugin that looks like it's part of your website, that's embedded in your website, but it's a professional something like, something that people can actually, like Fair Harbor is a really popular one recently that we've done for quite a few tourism businesses in Nova Scotia. It's a place where you can actually book things, and all the information is right there. You can pay for it, but it's not in the website, it's embedded into the website. And those are two different things. Now you are going to have to pay for two things separately, but typically when you have an e-commerce website, it's like $50 a month compared to maybe 30 over here and 15 over there. But now they both work perfectly together instead of having this kind of not so good version of it that's already in the website. That's a mistake, right? So you could use Wix, you could use Squarespace, you could use GoDaddy, you could use any one of these things. And honestly, at this point, they're all very, very similar. They're all somewhat similar in price. But the question is, do you want to do that? Is that the best thing for your business going forward? If you're just starting out and you're very, very small, then yes, I would say that you should DIY it. And if you want to book a thing with me, I'll teach you exactly how to do that and show you how to do it on any one of these things, or one of these platforms. But honestly, if you ask for my professional advice, that's not the best thing to do. You don't want to you don't want to have the Queen of England or the King of England to come and visit your house and get them McDonald's, right? You do want to have a Michelin chef come over and cook for you, right? So the same thing is true in websites. If you have a business that's actually really important to you, you should be able to invest in getting a professional. It doesn't have to be us, obviously. It can be anyone you like. If you know someone that builds websites in your community that has a good reputation, but it is definitely a worthwhile investment, just like the photography is. You can find a photographer who can build you a stock library and make you have like really professional images. That would be a really important thing for you to do. Some things are worth investing in, some things aren't. If you flat out do not have the budget, which is often multiple thousands of dollars to get a professional website made, if you don't have that budget, having any website is better than no website. But just understand that you need to invest a ton of your own time to get good enough to make it look good. Otherwise, your business will suffer because it's not going to look good, and that's going to make a terrible first impression, and we don't want that, right? So it's really individualized as far as where you're at. But for most people, you're better off, and especially if you have the opportunity to go through like a TDAP where it doesn't actually cost you any money and you can get websites built through that, that's obviously the absolute best way to go. But depending on where you're at in your business and the timing of the TDAP or whatever funding that you have access to currently, you can ask us. We have access to a few different places that offer funding, including CBDC. They offer some stuff as well. But it's really, really important. If you don't have a website, you need one. And if you have a crap one, you need a good one. Okay. And the big question is like, does your website work for you? And we talk in the audit, like, is your website performing optimally? Like when you go on it, is it easy to navigate? When you click the button, does it go to the right place? Is it converting? Is it producing revenue? Like, are you constantly getting leads for your business through your website? And is it acting as a 24/7 salesperson, which is just constantly asking questions? You can have AI plugins now where you can automate things. You can have direct answers come back. Like, is it working for you? That's what a website's supposed to do. It's supposed to bring you new business. It's supposed to live on the internet, draw in traffic all the time, and get more business for your website. That's the entire point of your business, of your website. So, bottom line, as I start to wrap up, a professional, high performing website is essential to success. It builds trust and makes a strong first impression. It captures leads and directs traffic where it matters. It works 24/7 to grow your business, even when you're not. So, you can work while you're sleeping. And it's one of the most powerful tools in your marketing toolbox. So, I'm more than happy now to have any questions. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them live. Or if they want to, like I say, book through the Digiport. If you don't know how to do that, I'm sure our team at DNS or TNS are going to kind of direct you on how to do that. But I'm more than happy to kind of walk anyone through.
So that's really, really great information. If anybody on the call has any questions, please make sure you put it in the Q&A. I'm not sure if you got to this question, but it was about accessibility compliance.
Okay.
And it says, for accessibility compliance, can you pause the video? It is my understanding that the user and screen readers need to be able to control that, and they should not autoplay. Same with color contrasting checks and font size.
Sorry, I couldn't really hear you there, Nick.
So it said for accessible, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. For accessibility compliance, can you pause that video? So this is around 10:44, so you may have been showing the video. And if it's about the webinar video, then whoever asked the question, Laura, can go back and review it. It is my understanding that the user and screen readers need to be able to control that, and they should not autoplay. Same with color contrasting checks and font size. So I guess maybe it's about a video, and if there is an ability to pause it, I guess.
Right. Yes, and the accessibility is becoming a lot more of a thing than it ever has been before, and we're actually doing a lot of work on that in the background to try and optimize websites for that to make it easier for people to read, who are hard of reading, or like you said, being able to stop videos and things like that. So yes, typically, actually, our favorite way to embed video is actually through a YouTube link because it kind of kills two birds with one stone. It doesn't have the same kind of weight as far as size, so the video loads faster, the page loads faster. But then also you show them to your YouTube channel where they might click that and watch more. But yes, to answer your question, you can absolutely pause any video. At least the way we do it. Everyone does things differently. You can set it so that you can't, and you're forced to watch it, and that's honestly a good sales technique as far as once you click on it, it's already started, so you don't have to click play. But with accessibility issues and things like that, you do want to, if that's important to your business or important to you as a person, then absolutely people can adjust those things.
One more question. So AI and ChatGPT are becoming the new search engines. Any tips to make sure we're listed there, or does SEO feed those channels?
It absolutely does. When you ask ChatGPT a question, it is using essentially everything that's information that's on the internet and Google, and it's doing the same search as you would. It's just doing it at light speed. So if you're not super optimized, if you're not being one of those first things that pops up, if you're not keyword optimized, you're not going to show up in those channels just the same way as you're not in a Google search. So ChatGPT is just essentially on top of that, using all of that interface to be able to find that information. So the same kind of rules apply to make sure that you are actually appearing in a search. If someone says, "Hey, I'm in Amherst, Nova Scotia, where can I eat?" It's going to pull from Google, right? Do you know what I mean? Like that's where the information is. And it's also going to pull from the information on your website. So those two places, those things that we already talked about, if you want to appear in ChatGPT searches, make sure that you're SEO optimized throughout your social media and also your website.
Yeah, I agree. It's fascinating to see how like ChatGPT will now source all of its information it's giving you, which is it's great. So whatever you're using it for, if someone's like, "Well, where'd you get the info?" It's like, "Well, here's the 8 sources it pulled from." So it's kind of
Right.
adds another layer of authenticity to it, and
Right.
makes it a little more comfortable. I don't see any more questions coming through. I just do think today's webinar was super valuable, and Patrick, unless any questions pop up, I will take back over. I really appreciate the time.
Okay.
And I would encourage anyone that's listening now or after the fact, if you have any questions or would like to get some insights in your business to book Nova Scotia for a one-on-one. So I'll just take back over here, Patrick. Just bear with
Okay.
me for a sec.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So I guess I have to request to share the screen. I'm not sure. Let's see how that goes. There we go. All right, we're good. Perfect. Okay, so I am going to To wrap this webinar here, I do apologize. I did have in the middle of my middle of the webinar the power cut off for me. So I had to kind of rejig my computer and get it back. So I would encourage anyone here to share that video. A lot of valuable insights, the little things that can really make the difference. And I also encourage you to check us out in our next webinar, and that's Thursday, October 2nd at 10 a.m. Plan it, post it, show up. Social media that saves time. So it's Caro Coyne Mansfield of KA Social Media Consulting. She's done many webinars for us before, and she's a great presenter. So I'd really encourage you to check in on that webinar. So that'll be Thursday, October 2nd. And well, oh, really encourage you to stay connected with TNS. So our corporate website is tourismns.ca. Our consumer website is novascotia.com. So that's where we would encourage all tourism businesses to be listed. Any relevant information regarding news resources, we will share in our news and resources section. So you can sign up there, you'll get an email, you'll never miss anything relevant. We are on Twitter at Tourism NS, LinkedIn, Tourism Nova Scotia. And if you have any ideas for a webinar, if you have any feedback, send us an email at tnsbusiness@novascotia.ca. Thank you so much for the time. Appreciate you joining us, and have a great day.